Welcome everybody to Q&A with Barbara, our bi-monthly appointment where you get to ask the questions and I get to answer them. So let's take a look at the first question of the day. The first question comes from Rachel O'Connor. Let's see what she's asking. Hi Barbara, please could you address my inability to go fully raw? I'm unable to even do raw until 4 p.m. so I have to have steamed potatoes at lunch and dinner. I'm really interested in why this would be the case. Thank you very much. I appreciate everything you do. You've helped me tremendously build up my knowledge and progress in my healing in a very positive way. So first of all, Rachel, thank you very much for your feedback because it's really important for me to hear from you guys what are the results of the work I'm doing here for you. So thank you very much. It's really appreciated. As far as your question about your inability to go fully raw, I do not have a lot of background information as to what kind of protocol you're really following, what kind of supplements you're taking, what is the reason why you're on the protocol in the first to begin with, and what is the diet that you were following before you came to the medical medium. But let's just focus on the fully raw ability or inability to do it. The question to you would be, first of all, why would you want to go fully raw? It's because it's what's in the book, it's because other people are doing it. For me, the most important part of everything I do and everything I want to transfer to you guys is your ability to follow the cue of your body. So if you're unable to go fully raw because you feel a little dizzy or because you feel not centered, you have to listen to the body and maybe investigate a little bit more why that would be. As I always say, there are two things that come in place here: the primary food and the secondary food. The primary food are everything that we swallow but is not on our plate. The secondary food are everything that is on our plate. Okay, so for a second let's focus on the primary food, which is everything we swallow. That means emotions, that means trauma, drama, toxic relationship, hating our job and still having to do it on a daily basis. Like a drop becomes a PTSD we have to detoxify from. So every single person is different than the other. We are comprised, as I always say, of 100 trillion cells in the body, and my 100 trillion cells are different than yours. But I also say that we're comprised of 100 trillion emotions and relationships and experiences, and they are a very different mind than yours. So I'm really big on bioindividuality, and I'm gonna tell you why. The reason is that what works for one person could be poison for another person. So I see you mentioning that you read in the posts that everybody's going fully raw, and hence you feel compelled or the need to also go fully raw. But it's more important to me that you follow the cues of your body. So if your body feels that more centered or more stable or less jittery by having some steamed potatoes at every meal, just follow your body. If we dig down as to why that could be, there could be lots of reasons. Could be emotional reasons, could be the need to stay attached to comfort food, because potatoes are really centered and they're also comfort food, so they make up for emotions or emotional comforts that we're looking for. That could be one reason, but again, I don't know much about you, but I'm just talking generally, right? Another thing could be, you said you've been on this program for a year and a half. Now, I don't know what your viral load was. I don't know what your situation previously to the medical medium was, but I can say that if you've been following this protocol pretty closely, there is a lot of detoxing that is going on. At any given point, when we lower our viral load, the body experiences higher level of toxicity, so some peaks of toxicity versus times where we're able to release. So maybe you are experiencing consistent high level of toxicity that makes you feel a little bit unstable if you go fully raw, for instance, because it will be a too fast detoxing. Another reason could be that because you're detoxing fast, but your lymphatic system is stagnant or clogged, these toxins that you bring up to the surface, including the viral load and the byproduct of the viruses that you're killing, it's going nowhere. So it is not able to go out and it stays in. And that makes you feel worse. It makes you feel unable to maintain a fully raw diet. That's an example. Another reason is fruits and vegetables, mostly fruit though, are the highest vibrational food ever existed in the world. So it could be a lot to take depending on the individual, because they are like high frequency food. So it's important to gauge, to listen to your body and understand. I will consider to do maybe a mono eating. So instead of trying to go fully raw every day, just devote a day of the week where you decide to do mono eating and that be fully raw. So for a day a week, just do only apples or only watermelons or only grapes and see how you feel. Just one day of the week. That's really important because it's not a full commitment to fully raw, but it's an opportunity for your body to try to flush out toxins in a very gentle way. Just once a week. The liver, like Anthony tells us, has memory. And so after a while that you do this mono eating, fruit-based mostly, every week, the body and the liver will know that that day of the week it is coming, the time to flush out toxins. So this could solve a lot of issues for you because it's not a big commitment to fully raw. It is also the opportunity for the lymphatic system to flush out more toxins if it's a little bit stagnant right now, and the opportunity for your body to adjust it to higher vibrational food like fruit. So mono eating fruit. Let me know how it goes, and should you have any questions, don't hesitate to call me. Our second question comes from Lauren Middleton. Lauren is concerned about weight gain. Let's see what she's asking. Hi Barbara, I've been following medical medium protocols to a T for 4.5 months, and I've gained 20 pounds when everyone else on your Facebook group seems to be losing. It's been so hard, but I continue because so many other symptoms are improving. Some say I'm detoxing too fast and storing some of the excess toxin in my fat stores. Others say because I'm insulin resistant, and that doesn't heal day one of protocol. Can you please provide your opinion? This is hurting me deeply to think that I'm on the right track, yet question it because this amount of weight gain seems like something is really wrong with what I'm doing. I understand 5 pounds might be water weight, but not 20. Let me know. Thank you, Lauren. Lauren, this is a really good question because a lot of people do experience weight gain on the protocol. Now, I tend to agree and to believe that, and then I got another email from you when I was asking you some background information. You said in the email that when you were doing fully raw, you were gaining more, and then you slowed that down, you added more cooked food, and the weight gain has slowed down. So that is a perfect answer to you, and you can with confidence know that the weight gain is when we detoxing too fast. We're detoxing too fast, and the body is unable to release this toxin out, so the toxin stays in. Now, I want everybody to understand that toxins are corrosive. Toxins are not something that we should have in the body, right? So our bodies are very smart. So what they do, they coat toxins with lipids, with fat. Okay, that's why we find toxins usually in the visceral fat, in the belly area, and in the brain, because there's a lot of fat there. Okay, our lymphatic system is also made of lipids. It's a lipid-based system, differently than the blood. If we have a lot of toxins in the blood, we're gonna die. That's why we need an alternate system, an alternate fluid system to carry out these toxins. Now, when you go right into a fully raw detoxification without knowing previously, if your detoxing pathways are open, like the lymphatic system, if your kidneys are filtering, if you add on to that the heavy metal detox smoothie, because I saw that you mentioned in your second email that that's what you were doing, you're basically shocking your body. Not because you're just stopping what you were doing before, whatever was your diet, but because the amount of toxins that comes to the surface, because the brain is signaled to release these toxins that before was steaming and coating with fat, now they're free flowing in the system. But if they have nowhere to go, the body will start producing fat, as I said, to coat these toxins, right? So absolutely listen to your body. As I said before, bioindividuality is key. So do not listen or read or use as comparisons what other people are doing on Facebook. There isn't another person that is the same as you emotionally and on a functional level. So your body, your unique body, is telling you that you're detoxifying too fast. And in order to do so, to protect you, is building up fat reserves so that it can store these toxins until you find a way to detoxify or to open the lymphatic pathways. So what I would advise you is absolutely slow down the detox as you're doing, and that it was good on you to listen to the body and see how changing things around could have a different reaction. But consider it lymphatic cleanse, because it's fundamental. And I want to say this one more time. People jump on the heavy metal detox smoothie, which is a very potent chelator, meaning that it's going to bring to the surface heavy metals without knowing if the lymphatic system is open, without knowing if the kidneys are able to filter. A lot of people with adrenal depletion, which is probably everybody nowadays, have inability to filter. The adrenals are sitting on top of the kidneys. The kidneys are the organs that is filtering out our toxins. They are brought to by the lymphatic system. So if the adrenals are depleted or dysfunctional, they are going to impede the kidneys to filter out toxins. So we had to address the adrenals before we even address heavy metal detox smoothies, or try to detoxify from heavy metals. We had to address our lymphatic system to make sure it's not stagnant. Years of stress, chronic stress, years of wrong nutrition will make the system stagnant. So it is important to do things step by step. Everybody is individually different and diverse, but listen to your body. And if you're storing fat, that means that you might be retaining toxins and detoxifying too fast. So consider lymphatic cleanse. We're doing another one starting on August 11th. If you want to do it in a group setting, I'd love to help you. But if not, you can find a lot of information online, but look into your lymphatic before getting into a deeper level of detoxification. Our next question comes from Christina Nielsen. Christina is asking about eye health. Let's see what she's asking. Hi Barbara, thank you for this wonderful opportunity to shine light on our health questions. My question is about my eyes. I have for the last years experienced a lot of eye problems. I have had myopia in both eyes together with cataracts in both eyes. On top of that, within 2 weeks in between, I've had retinal tears and I had to do laser treatment. Now recently had the one eye done to remove the lens from the cataract and the short-sightedness, but the floater still remains. I wonder if anybody has been able to get rid of the floaters with the medical medium help, and if yes, what they've been doing and for how long. I wonder also if anyone knows the true causes for cataract floaters and retinal detachment. Many thanks for this opportunity to hopefully get some clarity on this subject. Christina, thank you again for your feedback and for your questions. Eye health is very complicated. Anthony mentions how complicated it is because there are so many factors. But let's address the 2 or 3 things that you specifically asked about. The first one was the floaters. Floaters are a very common question. I see you guys posting on our group often, and very simply put, the floaters are EBV related, and it's specifically the EBV inflaming the optic nerve and shortcutting some electrical currents, and that's why we see these floaters. So obviously there's a EBV activity in your body and particularly around your optic nerve, and that's why you're experiencing the floaters. So for this reason, I will say to focus on a heavy antiviral protocol. Okay. The other one was the cataracts and why cataracts happens. Cataracts, according to Anthony, are heavy exposure to pesticides and herbicides. So we're talking about from glyphosate to old DDT that is stored in our body and inherited from generations. So even if you weren't directly exposed to it, it is still there. So that's specifically cataracts. So overall, Christina, in your case, we can say with certainty that there is a heavy EBV action at play here. So focus on antiviral protocol as well as the spirulina, barley grass juice, eyebright, ginkgo biloba, and nettle leaf. Our last question comes from Crystal. She's asking a rather rare question, at least within our group, regarding the condition that goes by the name of primary biliary cholangitis, also known as primary biliary cirrhosis. The primary biliary cholangitis is a chronic liver disease resulting in a progressive destruction of the bile ducts. What happens is that the bile builds up in the liver, resulting in inflammation and scarring. Now, Crystal first posted this question in our group, and she didn't receive a lot of responses because it is a fairly unknown condition, at least within the realm of conditions that we used to see in our group. But I wanted to address the question, Crystal, and to all of you that are listening, because there are two things to put. Two things that Crystal is asking. First of all, why could this happen? And two, if she should take the medicines that the doctors are recommending. And they're kind of putting it in a very grim way. You either take these medicines or you die. So I want to fully disclose that because, Crystal, you're not my patient. I can't advise you to take or not take your medications. That's fully to be discussed with you and your doctors. However, I want to mention one thing. This is a liver issue. It's a liver disease, okay? It is caused by progressive destruction of the bile ducts, and every time there is a destruction of connective tissues, we need to look at the level of acidity in our body, because why would the biles just auto-destruct themselves? They wouldn't do that, right? So when we reach a level of acidosis or inflammation, now depends on what side of medicine you want to look at, it really tells us that it's really the body's ability to protect itself. So when we're super acidic, when we're super inflamed, the body is trying to find solution to lower the level of inflammation by itself and lower the level of acidity. So in order to do that, it's gonna go and pull base material from connective tissues or bones like calcium to lower the level of acidity, right? To try to bring the body back in balance. So every time there is a problem with connective tissues, for instance, people that bruise very easily, it's because the body is taking the base material from the connective tissue, from the shaft, the other part of the veins, to try to dump more base material to lower the acidity of the body. So the problem is not why this disease, the problem is what caused this disease. And I'm kind of and I don't even want to call it disease, because I'm not into treating diseases, but I'm into healing the overall body. We are a system. So the way the body eventually expresses itself, it expresses the level of acidity and inflammation that was under, is with this condition rather than a disease. So I would like for you, whatever you decide to do going forward, to look at this as a body wake-up call. Like your body is nudging you and is telling you, listen, your level of acidity and inflammation is so high. So there's something that you're doing, that something that is happening in your body that is not quite right, and we have to pay attention to this. Okay? So can you heal from this condition? I believe that we can heal from all different social conditions because our body is programmed to do so. It is constantly trying to bring us back to balance, and maybe even the destruction of the bile ducts that you're experiencing could be part of the body's ability to bring us back to balance and try to fix another condition, and then eventually disrupting some others. So for me, the question is, what was happening into your body before you even got here? What were the symptoms you were experiencing? What was your diet? What were you other condition or disorders that you were experiencing at the time? Overall, if we look at the body as a system, I will say that you can never go wrong when you decide that you want to do everything you can to lower the inflammation in your body, and so the acidity in your body. And in order to do that, you have to go back to the basics, which is high amount of fruit and vegetables, mostly fruit. And I will say, in your condition, I will go fully raw if possible, because fruit is immediately bioavailable by the body. The body knows exactly what to do. So you gotta keep your liver resting, because it doesn't have to use a lot of biles to metabolize this fruit, right? So you want to make sure that we don't use extra biles. In your case, extra bile. Fruit is immediately bioavailable. The energy is recognized by the body immediately. and it's very alkalizing. So right now, if your initial problem before even the primary biliary cholangitis was that you were extremely acidic and extremely inflamed, I would say that lowering your inflammation level, bringing your body back into close as possible as an alkaline state, is your best bet, regardless from what kind of course of action you decided to do. But you can never go wrong to start increasing the amount of fresh fruit and raw vegetables that you eat in your diet. As far as the medications, you know, I'm not your doctor. I'm not in the position of advising you whether you should take them or not. So discuss with them and also kind of tune in and see what feels right to you. The key is look at your body as a system. Don't look at what's happening now. Look at what was happening before. Some of the other, I'm sure, cues that your body must have given you before you got to this point, and try to really understand what brought you here. And it's for sure could be a viral component, like Anthony mentioned, a viral component with a lot of byproduct activity that increases the toxicity of the body and increases the level of inflammation. And let's not forget, toxins are corrosive. So we're talking about a disorder that is corroding your bile ducts. So it comes from an extreme level of toxicity in the body, an extreme level of inflammation. So look at the disorder as a system and try to act on the system, not on the disease. We're not in the business of treating diseases or managing diseases, which is what allopathic medicine does. We are in the business of treating the whole body. So lower your level of inflammation, go back to fruit and vegetables, to the basics, and I will be shocked if you will not improve your condition. So I guess this is it for today. Thank you so much for your participation. Thank you so much for those of you who are watching right now. If you do have questions, please email them to us at info@healthinprogress.us, and I will be happy to answer your questions, and not this Thursday, the next Thursday, in the next Q&A with Barbara. Thank you.